So here in this video, we're just going to welcome back Karen once again. Karen, say hello to all the nice people at home.
Hello. Hiya.
Hello, all the nice people at home. Say hello to Karen. Hello there, or something like that. Right, let's go and see how cognitively flexible Karen is, shall we?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Now, this is quite a simple demonstration, to be honest with you. In fact, what I'm going to introduce you to in this clip is a question, one simple question that can become your new best friend. Now, have you heard me say a couple of times that CBT does not need to be a complicated process? Sometimes to make them the greatest shifts and, shift perspectives and move mountains, all we need is just a little insight or one or two very effective tools to use. So, all I'm going to do here, I'm going to ask Karen to focus this time in this conversation in a slightly different direction from the last conversation. And this time, I want you to look to identify a void in your life. All right. Now, this is generally going to be, our conversations of this nature are going to be a bit more lifelike to those conversations that you're going to have. Remember, people aren't going to come to you when they feel happy or content because they're excited about the goals that they have. Oh no, they'll come to you when they perceive themselves to have a void or they're going to have some sort of emotional disturbance going on or something like this, okay? So I'm not asking Karen to focus on a disturbance that she's got going on, but I am going to invite her to look at a void that she has going on, because when we have voids, well, voids kind of become the essence or the starting point of our goal setting endeavors, all right? So every goal that we set should be in response to a void that we've identified in our life. So I'm going to ask you to identify a void or a deficit or an area in your life which just isn't where you want it to be, Karen.
Okay. It's probably the area of relationships is the biggest void at the moment for me.
The area of relationships. Okay, now what I'm going to ask you to do, Karen, all right, I'll just let you know at home that sometimes when working with clients, it's good for us just to discern and gauge how it is that they kind of process information. Now, what we've seen with Karen's quite a visual person, all right? So her mind works in images and pictures a lot of the time. So sometimes if we're working with a person whose mind works in pictures and images, and this is actually probably quite a high percentage of people, it can sometimes be good to invite a client to close their eyes if they want to. This just allows them to minimize external distraction and really focus in on their internal experience. You with me? Make sense?
Yes.
So Karen, I'm going to invite you to want to have a conversation with you here, all right? And I'm going to invite you so you can keep your eyes open and you can close your eyes, whatever you would prefer, whatever's going to allow you to really kind of focus more thoroughly.
I'll close them, yeah.
You're going to close them, okay. So this is a kind of a cognitive flexibility exercise, all right? And this is about me encouraging and working collaboratively with Karen just to get her to look at this void from multiple perspectives, all right? So get your pen and notepad at the ready and listen out for the questions that I ask that provoke Karen to to shift her perspectives, all right? You might be surprised at just how simple they are. All right, so I won't tell you what they are right now, but you get your notepad and pen ready and jot them down for yourself. So Karen, I'm just wondering if you could just tell me about this void. Tell me about what you see.
Okay. I feel I don't have too many close girlfriends in my life at the moment.
So you don't have as many close girlfriends as what you would like to have?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I've developed a lot over the last couple of years and feel like I've got value to share with people, and a lot of my previous relationships I've sort of moved away from, and the connection's not quite, it was never that connected, I've kind of left some people behind a wee bit.
You've left some people behind a little bit.
Yeah. And now I'd like some mature relationships where we can converse on a meaningful level and like really share life and insights and learnings.
And we can talk about things like this, can't we?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool, okay. So I'm just going to feed back what I think I've heard. So this void in your life is you've changed a lot over the last few years.
Yes.
And in response to this, a number of your relationships have also changed. You've perhaps grown apart from, or a bit of distance has entered some of the relationships that you used to have with some people you were perhaps a bit closer to back then.
Yes.
So you find yourself in a stage now, you've grown, you've developed, but you don't have the number of kind of close, intimate relationships in your life that you would like to. Just girlfriends, lady friends, woman friends, people that you can just connect with on a slightly more mature, more meaningful level than just kind of superficial, how you doing, how's your week been, what's the weather, how's work, superficial kind of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. So I've summed it up quite sort of well here.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, you're looking at this void from a certain perspective right now.
Yes.
Yeah? So I'm just wondering, if you were to look at this from another angle, what might you see?
That's a tough question.
If you were to look at this void from a different perspective,
Yeah.
what might you see?
I guess that it's not like, I want these connections for me. I do. That's a selfish part of me, or that need in me. But I can't really force them. I can't force these meaningful connections in my life. I can't force that happening. I can just be available for the right people at the right time.
It's interesting, isn't it? How does this change things for you?
Kind of brings a bit of peace, really, that I don't need to strive to try and find these people, but the right people will come at the right time. I can make an effort to put myself out there and connect, but I can't determine whether someone else will want to go to that level of connection or not.
It's interesting, isn't it? So what have you learned here? Just from looking at this void from a slightly different angle, a slightly different perspective. What have you learned? What have you learned about yourself?
That by looking at something I feel I need or want from a different perspective, I can actually develop a bit more patience.
Patience.
I can develop patience and knowing that as long as I'm doing my best to work towards what I want, that that's all I can really do.
That's all you can really do, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm going to ask you a really tricky question here. Is this all right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a tricky question. So now, you see what you see now,
Yeah.
okay? But if you were to look at this from yet another perspective, what else might you now see? What else might you now see? But only because you see what you can see now. You're nodding your head.
Yeah, I'm starting to see that there will be other people out there in the same position as me.
There will be other people out there who are in the same position as you. People who are also wanting slightly more mature, meaningful connections and relationships like what you want.
Yeah.
So
Who also know that they can't force those relationships. But
So what does this mean?
it means that I've just got to find the best way possible of finding those people, finding the people that have that common interest.
And what might this involve?
Really, probably me starting something or creating an opportunity for some people to connect, or
Such as?
like
Example.
like a woman's local coffee morning or something like that.
A local women's coffee morning,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, something in time, at the right time.
At the right time.
Yeah.
Not something that you need to go and force or drive, but at the right time, this is something that you're more than capable of doing.
Yeah. Yeah. For people looking in a similar direction.
For people who are looking in a similar direction. So I guess in order to make sure that you ultimately going to connect with the right people, and not just people who are going to come and need something from you or be draining, you want these mature connections, you're going to have to make sure that you actually communicate what this thing is so you can connect with the right people in the right way.
Yeah.
So it's not something that you can really force or rush, is it?
No. But I guess I become good at explaining or communicating what I would actually like then.
So you become better at actually communicating what you actually want.
Yeah.
Which is
mature, honest, healthy conversation.
It's not just a bunch of people attending each other, turning up.
No. But where you can kind of have those heart-to-heart conversations.
Have those heart-to-heart, meaningful, mature conversations.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I'm going to ask you one more question, if that's all right.
Okay.
Okay? If you were to look at this vision, this goal now, from yet another perspective, one last one, but a really important one, a really, really important one, something that might actually change something for you, what would it be?
The more I sort of stretch my mind in these different directions, I'm seeing that this goal isn't just like, well, it's a nice idea. It's a nice, lovely idea, but the more I stretch my mind, it's becoming a bit more tangible about how I actually have to get there.
So just to make it clear here, you're kind of moving from kind of vision to a few more details now. You're starting to get some details, some practicalities.
I am, yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. So this other angle then could be that I need to become quite comfortable in leading and starting something and be as comfortable being outside of my comfort zone as possible in order to start something like this in the future and do it well.
I've got a really, really crazy idea. Do you want to hear it?
Okay.
Could you imagine you hosting workshops like this with other people doing what we're doing right now?
I could, yeah.
You're doing this right now. Would there be anything complex about you leading other people through the process of doing this? Looking at life differently? Developing cognitive flexibility?
Yeah. No, there's nothing stopping me doing something like that.
Thank you very much. Open your eyes. Tell me, Karen, do you feel more cognitively flexible after that little exercise?
I do, yeah.
You do?
Yeah, it was quite difficult, the first one. I couldn't quite, I was like, what?
Took a little bit longer.
Yeah, looking for something outside of how I'm looking at this goal.
Yeah.
But it got a wee bit easier.
Now, I'm going to be straight with you, all right? This is something that you could build an entire CBT-based session around or a workshop around, all right? I'm sharing with you tools here you can go and put into practice in the context of your life right away, all right? Do this in schools, do this in, with your children, do this with your spouse, your husband, your team at work or whatever, all right? This is one exercise. What was the question that I asked? So if you were to look at this void, which is generally a deficit or would have been the problem, from an alternative perspective, what might you see? All right, so we started out with the problem, and do you know who brought resolve into their life? Was it me or was it Karen?
It was me.
Did I solve any problems here or was it Karen?
Yeah, it was me.
This is a collaborative effort. Here's the thing, when we know where to look, when we understand the questions to ask, it's not about us getting it right for our clients or for the people that we're working with. It's not about that at all. It's about us just simply provoking and encouraging and collaboratively working with our clients to get them to look at their life, their goals, their perceived voids, their issues from alternative perspectives. Now, this isn't going to work when a client's just immersed in emotion. I'm focusing on anxiety. I don't want to be anxious anymore. That's not a goal. That's a goal framed in a negative way. All of our goals need to be positively framed and positively focused. And we'll touch on this more in the goal setting section of the course, all right? But just for here, I'm hoping that you found this demonstration quite insightful, all right? I'm handing you on a plate right now a workshop or an event that you can host in your local town or your local city or wherever, all right, on shifting perspective, cognitive flexibility. Make a CBT workshop available, all right? And just talk about cognitive flexibility, talk about cognitive biases, have a conversation, how they work themselves in your life, a little bit of information, and then get everyone doing an exercise like this. And here's the thing, you could spend half an hour, 45 minutes. And if you were to look at this from one alternative perspective yet, what might now you see? And you can, they'll be up in the universe and they'll have visions and they'll have a 12-page business plan or, plan put in place by the end of the conversation. Honestly, this is one of the most empowering exercises that we can guide our clients through as CBT practitioners. Very, very simple, but massively, massively powerful. Karen, any final words?
The process really helped me take responsibility for some of what I will actually have to put in place and do to work towards this goal.
To take responsibility. Yeah. And this has left you feeling more
clearer and more empowered.
More empowered.
Towards it. Yeah.
More empowered. So this isn't about a goal being some long off, far away, distant hope or nice idea now.
No.
It's actually becoming more of a tangible reality.
It is, yeah.
It's one that's only going to come into existence if you...
It's going to be my work, my effort.
You've got to do something.
Yeah.
You've got to do something. The essence of the CBT-based relationship. My friends, I hope you found this demonstration interesting. Go and practice this one at home, all right? And why not? Go and set up and host a workshop or an event somewhere. You've got nothing to lose. And my friend, you've got everything to gain. Hope you found this helpful. We'll see you again in the next clip.